Hello everyone, just a massive thank you to everyone who connected today and who attended the 7th 20 portal from anywhere in the world. I don't really know how was the experience around the world with this, but I would love to talk about my personal experience activating Glastonbury today. So the first thing I need to tell you is that I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. Um, it was one of the hardest activations I have done in my life, I think. I have never done such a difficult activation before. Um, we we actually receive and integrated the Metatron codes early today. So Estrella actually did that all the way from Spain, and she took care of the codes and making sure those codes went into several people's consciousness. Um, and those are the codes of creation, basically. So it's about secret geometry and a cube, and those codes can get to you very easily through the heart or through the mind. Estrella actually activate them through the mind, and the heart intention was there, so they were basically being a little bit of integration too. My personal reference to this was that we were doing a mirror today. So while Estrella was doing the mirror of the mind, I needed to do the mirror of the heart somehow in the UK. So she also did the same for heaven. So while she was kind of downloading the information from heaven, I needed to kind of activate them in Earth, in Glastonbury. So my experience today was very earthy, was actually very, very earthy. For the first time in a very long activation, I was not able to connect directly to my higher self. I actually need to take care of the whole activation with my own body and with my own self, and I couldn't really listen to anything. So usually in all activations that I pull together, I have some sort of guidance. For this activation, the guidance was very, very minimum. I really need to just trust my intuition and the way I was feeling. So that's what I basically did. And I knew it was because I was doing the earth function. I was actually acting and referring as earth. So if you think about the mirror that I was talking about, Spain basically was also representing very much that separation, like what happened to Latin America. So basically, Latin America got their head chopped and they lost their head in the process, while Europe, on the other side, they lost their heart. So it's almost like today was the first introduction to an alignment and to a way of integrating as a whole consciousness together, the mind and the heart together. So everything was aligning and everything was about integrating, and there was a lot of empowering. So I had received an empowering mantra before, and it's a very, very powerful, like almost like an anthem. And basically today I got access to it again, and I need to repeat it and to sing it and to integrate it within my essence several times. And the people who were helping me in the activation today, I also share them with them. And funny enough, the people that were activating Glastonbury with me today, they were also Latin people. So it was two other Mexicans and myself. activating the heart. It was quite interesting, into a very, very minded country. Um, we it was a little bit of a disaster to start with, because basically I always ask permission to all the guardians of the place, and the permission was granted. I was able to get to the top of the tour with no problem, but as soon as I arrived to the tour, I literally faced the other half. So it was very, very interesting. So again, the mirror, I faced the mirror where there was someone that was representing absolutely everything as it is at the moment: the system, the structure, the mind, the rules, the inflexibility of this is the way it is, and this is it, and religion. So it was very interesting because there was this guy, very English, and he was very upset because he basically said that people like me just went there and started to suddenly activate the whole thing, and that he didn't agree with it, and he didn't want me to do it either. So at one point, I actually thought about stopping the activation, and I thought, well, maybe he's part of the, of the people, and he's part of something that needs to also agree with this. So I asked for everyone else's opinion, and there was another guy that it was almost like the white guy and the black guy. And the white dress guy was like, no, no, go ahead. You really need to do this. You are in your right to be here. And the other guy was like, no, you are not. This is my country. This is my place. This is almost like, yeah, the opposites. And I didn't fight it, but I got into being empowered to do what I needed to do. And I knew I needed to activate it, because I arrived just in time to do the activation, interestingly enough. Um, and the people that were waiting for me, because interestingly enough, a lot of people got to know that the activation was going to happen, and they were waiting for me. They couldn't cope with the guy. They needed to get out. The guy didn't got violent or anything. It was not like in Latin American countries where suddenly there's a rage and out of the blue the guy goes horrible. It was nothing like that. It was more of he was really upset, and he didn't want to move. He didn't want to compromise on anything. But then I realized we could actually work together. So while I was providing basically the shape and the light, he was providing the sound. And I realized that even if he didn't know about it, we could actually work together. We could make something together. So instead of fighting, instead of like going against him, instead of stepping on him or whatever, I just literally just sit down with the two girls next to me, the Latin girls, and we just start to meditate. It was incredible. The wind was all over us. It's almost like the elementals, like the guardians were really there, and they were like, yeah, you are supposed to do this. But on the other side, I was embracing, because he was providing music to almost upset us. But instead of upsetting us, because it was religious music, it was really weird. He was like, oh, you are too religious and all of this, and no religion should be here and all of that. And I was like, I'm not really being religious. But on the other hand, he started to sing very religious songs, but because they were in English and everything, we just embraced them, and we were like happy to kind of get these songs and make the songs part of the activation. So it's almost like we make him part of the activation without even him wanting to be part of the activation. And that just made me to reflect on something. The system will not necessarily be happy to change at all. When we are co-creating together, we just need to have this in mind. sometimes we will work with the system even if the system is not happy or even aware of it. And we just need to embrace it, give love, surround it with what we have, and believe in ourselves, because he did make me to start like thinking, shall I be here, shall I not be here? And a big part of me was like, no, you definitely need to be here. And mostly I actually did this. I was like, general consensus, let's ask the people around me if they want me here or not. And I did. And yeah, and the general consensus was like, yeah, you should definitely be here. It was really only him that he didn't want me there. So yeah, the summaries, we basically had this guy completely not wanting us there. A lot of people did get out. They couldn't be there with him just singing religious songs. We didn't mind. We were actually happy. We were very peaceful, and I literally just download some of the codes into the heart of the earth. I was able to manage that, and I was trying to integrate as many codes as I could with this guy sound. Um, I just felt my sound was also missing, and just bringing two sounds together for a new system would have made the difference. And that's kind of what I felt. But I also felt that this was a big step. Is the first time that we are actually co-creating together with someone that is 100% in the system. So I think this is the big basis for something massive. We just need to be patient, and it's going to be little by little. So everything is there. I was not necessarily being able to send it to Egypt. I didn't have enough time to do all of that, and things happen for a reason. um, I just literally deposit a lot of the stuff that was downloaded into the heart, earth heart, and my own heart, and the hearts of people that were there around. um, and yes, I realize a very important message that was given to me. We cannot co-create, and we cannot even create if we do not integrate first. So before we create anything, we need to integrate everything. We need to integrate the good and the bad, the light and the darkness, everything that bothers us, the system. So for a new system to be, the old system needs to be integrated first within us. And this is my message for all the IAM groups, because I believe this is going to be very, very useful for the future, and for everything that we are about to start doing with Matthias. Is all about integration before co-creation, and being empowered of what we need to do, because both energies, the feminine and the masculine, need to be empowered. So yeah, it's about that. So it was a very interesting, as I said, activation. Thank you again. Thank you again for connecting. I really appreciate all the energy helps. People, we managed to have a little bit of a circle at the end with the rest of the people that were there waiting for us, and it was absolutely beautiful. I'll share some pictures. I'll share some of the seeds that we put down in the shape and form of the diamond new energy, rainbow colors. And yes, it was quite an interesting day. Not exactly what I expected, but I think I'll take this experience one at a time. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll keep you updated with any further information that I receive or anything that comes my way. Thanks again. Love and light.